Hello and welcome back to another edition of Ask Adam with Rob, a guide to understanding the mortgage process. I'm your host, Rob King, Realtor at Keller Williams City Views in beautiful Fort Lee, New Jersey, and founder of Bergen County Strong. And we have Adam Roberts.
How are you, Rob?
Doing well, thank you. A mortgage banker at Atlantic Home Loans with over 20 years experience working with both clients and specializing working with agents. So Adam, thank you for joining us again.
Thanks for having me, Rob. How you doing?
Doing well. We're keeping our sanity during these crazy times. I hope the same is true for you and your family.
Thank God, Rob.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. So today we're going to talk about what's changed in the mortgage process. And I know there's a lot of buyers out there that have been thinking about buying in the last 6 months. So I'm just curious, what do you think has changed over the last 6 months in the mortgage process?
You're talking about the actual process or the marketplace, Rob?
Let's go with the marketplace.
Okay. I think right now is a very interesting time, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
I think what you're finding is if someone was thinking about buying a house 6 months ago, it's very simple. They're either not looking to buy anything anymore, most likely because they're of an unfortunate job situation.
Yeah.
Or they found themselves to be essential, okay? And what they're finding probably is that they have some job consistency, let's say, and they probably found out that they're not getting fired from their job, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when those kind of things happen, what I think it does for some people is it, shuts some of them away, obviously, but it also gives great confidence, or it should give great confidence to others. And I think what you're seeing now is you're seeing essential workers like teachers, nurses, and cops, and government workers. And, as a mortgage person, those have always been the best clients. Those are the easiest loans. Those are the easiest incomes to calculate. Very straightforward, right? Except what you have, I think you have less people, okay? Because many of them are unfortunately unemployed right now, okay? And I think you have what's called opportunity, okay? So if you have been thinking about buying, this process of what's going on has probably shed a little light on your, personal situation. But if you are still looking, right, this is a great time to purchase, in my opinion. There's a lot of great opportunity. And when I say opportunity, I mean opportunity to buy, Rob, and not have to put down a lot of money. Be able to roll in, for instance, your closing costs, and be able to get that same condo that, you were dreaming about, that you didn't think you had a chance because you didn't really have closing costs and you only had 5%. Guess what? The tides have turned. You're working, which is huge, and it means everything in the mortgage business right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think this is just a great opportunity to thank all the essential workers, the teachers, the healthcare professionals, police officers as well, for keeping us safe during these crazy times.
I've been waiting for you to hit the mortgage guys, but I have a feeling you're not going to thank us.
Well, of course, you always know I'm.
Nobody ever thanks us till the closing, right? That's all right.
Well, let me take the opportunity to thank you right now for doing this interview with me. I do greatly appreciate that.
It's my pleasure. And Rob, what you also said what's changed. I think it's important to understand that when you're bidding on these properties now, the sellers are probably in a lot of cases in a little bit of they could be in a difficult situation. I can't tell you how many people have called me personally over the last month and change. Clients that may have just purchased homes, unfortunately, got laid off, can't make their mortgage payments, or only have a couple months, reserves. And it's a very unfortunate situation, and it's unprecedented. So
maybe you can get some tips on what they can do in a time right now.
You're talking about the people who are having a difficult time paying?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's always a nice, relevant conversation.
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely talk about it. I wish I had the magic wand and I can kind of sprinkle some fairy dust and make the whole situation go away. And obviously the answer is money, right? Everybody needs money to pay their bills. But, if you're asking me, Adam, what could they do momentarily about their particular mortgage? They do need to be careful, because I think what you're seeing now is you're seeing people who don't want to pay their mortgage, who have money in the bank, and just kind of want to get 3 months off, or want what they think is, due to them because of this. So we got to be very careful as to what situation we're talking about. However, if we're talking about the person who truly, truly can't pay, okay, then obviously what they're going to have to do is call their lender and explain their situation to them. And usually what banks are doing is they're giving them two different options. I don't even know if they're giving them two options. I'm sure they're presenting them with this one first. The first one they would present would be, hey, Rob, you have no late fee, okay? And essentially you cannot pay us for 3 months. But at the end of 3 months, we want the past 3 payments all at one time, okay? I don't think that does anybody good who's having a hard time paying their bills.
Yeah.
The better of the two choices, which is a much better choice, is to not have payments for 3 months, and starting your 4th month, have your regular payment, and take the 3 months payment that you missed and add them to the end of the term, okay? Now, either of these two situations, Rob, we call them forbearance, okay? And I think there's a little bit of a misconception. They're saying that if people are in forbearance, then it's not going to affect their credit. And it very well may be true. Their scores may not go down. But that doesn't mean that somebody could refinance 2 months, 3 months, 4 months after forbearance. I actually had someone saying to me yesterday, hey, who just closed, I'm having difficulty and I want to do the forbearance. But, we probably think about selling the house, and I probably want to buy something in Florida, right? Is that going to be a problem? It's too early to tell. In one sentence, you're saying you can't make your payment. And in the same sentence, you're saying, can I buy a new house a week later? The jury's not out on this stuff yet. So
Yeah.
if you do go into any of those situations, understand that, yes, your credit scores may not get hit, but it may stop you from doing future financing for some period of time.
That makes a lot of sense, but it does sound like it would create a lot of protection for people to stay in their houses as well.
It would, but the problem is, Rob, you're getting a lot of people who have $150,000 in their account, or $100,000 or $20,000, and they're calling and saying they don't want to make the payment. Yes, it's uncomfortable, right? Because they don't know where things are going. But remember, when banks are lending you money, they have it factored in there in most of the cases that you should have a certain amount of reserves in case a situation like this happens. However, these times are really unprecedented, and it's kind of all bets are out the window. I've never seen anything like this, and I'm seeing really, really good people who did everything proper in their entire lives, just running through hard times. So I'm praying at night for everybody, and that these conversations don't continue.
Yeah, it's definitely heartbreaking to see some people struggling during these
times. Yes, but it's good to see your smiling face. That's the important part.
Well, thanks, Adam. Whenever I'm feeling a little bit down, it's always great just having a chat with you. You do a great job of lifting me back up.
I appreciate it, Rob. I appreciate it.
So I know one thing that we really wanted to focus on today were just the individuals right now that can take advantage of the current market. And you were saying the essential workers, the ones that can really demonstrate that they have the income coming in. Maybe you can talk a little bit about some of the strategies that they can do to take advantage of it and create a win-win situation for everyone.
Well, rather than hitting the strategy, let's talk about their competition, right?
Okay.
The strategy is knowing your competition. Well, maybe 6 months ago you were competing with the hair salon, right? The owner of the hair salon, right? He's, was putting 50% down on the house, and he has a hair salon, and he's very fancy. He drives a really nice cars. Everything in his life is beautiful, and so you feel like you have no chance, right, to get the house at the same price as somebody else, right?
Yeah.
the difference is when that gentleman or person goes to get a mortgage and they show that in 2018 they made $1 million, in 2019 they made $800,000. The problem is these kind of businesses, self-employed, service type businesses, they're going to want to know what they're making now.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to want to see current profit and losses, right? So to see that, that's great. You were making $1 million, a year ago, 2 years ago, but I think it makes sense, right? In everyone's world, knowing the changes that we're going through, what are you doing now, right? So by knowing your competition, you're knowing that there's a lot of people out there that are not going to be able to qualify for mortgages. Even some of the strong ones that were strong 3 months ago are no longer strong. Even the person that owned tons of properties that you were competing with, right? Who's got a lot of experience. This same person also has a lot of people that may not be paying him rent right now.
Mm-hmm.
His income is reduced. So my point to you is, Rob, it's as an agent, right? You want to spend time explaining to the strong clients you have of why they are strong and what you're going to do and how you're going to believe in them as an agent when you present them to the other side, right? You're going to get them a better deal because they're a stronger client. They're a nurse. They worked through COVID. They risked their lives. The prices of the person who owns the liquor store that you're competing with, it's the same price. How are you not going to give it to the nurse, right?
Yeah.
The point is knowing your client, knowing what you do, knowing what they do, and knowing what the competition is up against is going to make it easier. So advantages would be, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, you're competing for this $300,000 apartment and you're putting 5% down and you really don't have money for closing costs and you were going to get it, but you might not. So you're asked your realtor, hey, you think I could roll in the closing costs? And the realtor said, there's 3 other people bidding on this place. The second you do that, we're out. All right. So you go in uncomfortably, and you wind up getting the place, but guess what happens? And a week later, you realize you don't have the money and you couldn't get it from your rent. It feels bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's going to be, you're going to have more opportunity to make things like that happen for your clients, Rob, where you're going to say to them, hey, you know what, Mr. Client, I know you're tight on cash. Let me show you why Rob King is king. Okay. How would you like it if I could get your closing costs wrapped onto this mortgage for you? Rob, you put $10,000 back in someone's pocket. When they ask their family asks them who the agent's going to be, it's going to be you. Right? Knowing the market and knowing what's going to be allowable is going to make you a better agent, and it's going to get your clients better deals. That's just one, idea of what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I like how you're talking about how it's really important also to frame those offers that you're presenting to the seller as well, making sure that I'm putting my clients in the best possible light as possible. So talking about what they do and their vision for owning that property, I think it's just a nice little, I guess, just cherry on top, on top of the offer.
Absolutely. Listen, sometimes more isn't good and sometimes more is good, right? It depends. I think if you have it now, you flaunt it, okay? I'm a teacher, right? Everybody knows there's a minimum of what a teacher makes in New Jersey figure, right?
Yeah.
If someone said they were a teacher and they were looking to borrow $1 million and they were the only borrower, then we might have a little bit of a, we'll wonder what else is going on because the income probably doesn't add up, right?
Yeah.
But for the most part, anyone who's made it through this test of time is still working, getting the calls to come back to work. All of those people are going to have an advantage, in my opinion, as far as getting the properties that they want. If they have good credit, they'll be able to put down small down payments. Despite what they might hear about companies like Chase, who are requiring 20% down right now on their purchases, you can still put the small down payments down, Rob. You can still get deals done. As long as you're qualified, you will close.
Well, I do appreciate you bringing up teachers in that example. I'm married to a teacher, so I understand exactly.
I knew you were a smart guy. So am I.
So just seeing how hard she's working on a daily basis, I do appreciate you mentioning teachers in that conversation there.
Nobody deserves it more. It's not an easy one, especially the way everybody's working from home.
Yeah. I know my wife, she's putting in 13, 14 hours a day just prepping for her classes because it's just a new structure for a lot of
Well, that's good. If I'm a taxpayer in your town, I'm glad to hear it.
Well, that's great. That's great. Do you have any other tips for anyone who's thinking about maybe moving in from exploring into becoming a more serious buyer? Of any other tips that they can do to put themselves in the best situation?
Well, obviously, look, I mean, it goes without saying, pay your bills on time, right?
Yeah.
What I like to say to people is, there's a lot of times when clients, they're not, they think they could afford a certain payment or not. I always tell people the same thing, whatever the number is that you think you could afford, start it now, today, right? So if you're paying $2,000 on your rent and you can afford a $3,000 mortgage payment, take your $2,000, take $1,000 and put it away that month. If you can't make the mortgage payment, you can't afford to buy the house. It's just that simple. And if you can't start today, right? Today, not in 2 months from now, right? Today, because life happens today. And it happens tomorrow and it happens the next day and it doesn't stop. The bills don't stop. And as we know, with any home ownership, right? We'd love to say we'd buy a house and then we'd never have to spend another dollar. That's not true, right? There's always going to be things that we're going to have to fix, upkeep, right? Because obviously you want your property to stay a certain way. And so that would be my real first tip, Rob. Go a couple months and make sure that number is comfortable, right? If you're comfortable, then it's a lot easier to shop and know what you have. If you're uncomfortable because you're untested, you really don't know, and the whole process becomes difficult, right? And the other thing I would also say is know the areas, at least what you like, right? I can't tell you how many times I get referrals from agents who refer their clients over for the mortgage, but don't even know where their clients are interested in buying. And I feel like they go hand in hand, right?
Oh, absolutely.
We need to know what we're talking about as far as price points to even know if we can meet their demands, right? So I would say those are the main things. Look, obviously, save as much as you can. As far as debt goes, if you're thinking about buying something, right, and you have a little bit of debt, don't just go and take all your money and just pay off the debt and then come for a mortgage. Sometimes it's better off talking to a mortgage person because you not have to pay off all the debt, and sometimes you're better off putting a little bit more down or less down. There's different things that can be done, but I would say knowledge is power. So if any of you are thinking about it, don't think too long. Make a call to whoever it is you're comfortable with and let them know.
You actually stole my last line because you were talking about the prep now. I was like, make sure you're talking to people that do this for a living as well, because they're constantly reading, understanding the current situation, and they're always very happy to advise early on to make sure that you're putting yourself in a good situation. And it's not going to cost the client anything to have those conversations with a mortgage banker, with a realtor as well.
Absolutely, Rob.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Adam. I always enjoy our conversations. I enjoy prepping for these. I enjoy the conversations. I enjoy editing them. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure, my friend. I appreciate it, and I wish you and your family the best, and stay healthy and safe.
Perfect. Same to you. And again, let's just go ahead and thank all the essential workers out there, the police, the individuals working in healthcare, the teachers. Thank you so much for keeping our community safe and a great place to live. And
Rob, I got my KW sign in the house.
Do you?
In front of the house, the KW Cares. They dropped it off.
Nice. Yeah, that is one great thing. I know that's kind of getting thrown into some, we're not really sure how that's working but it is a great thing that KW does for the community to really make it a better place. Thanks for bringing that up. I really do appreciate it.
It is a great company. I'm proud to work with you guys. Thank you, Rob.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Adam. A pleasure as always.
You got it. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, it's Rob again. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And as always, happy investing.